If you've ever tried gardening and ended up with more weeds than food, this one's for you, because today we're talking about 12 crops that practically grow themselves, no green thumb required. You could forget to water them, plant them in terrible soil, and they'd still be like, "Don't worry, I got this." Number 12, potatoes, the lazy gardener's gold. If there's one plant that doesn't care about your gardening skills, it's potatoes. Seriously. Just throw a few sprouting ones into the dirt and step back. They'll grow, even in bad soil, even if you forget about them. All they really want is loose soil and a little sunlight. They don't need fancy fertilizers or constant care, just cover the stems with a bit more dirt as they grow. That's it. After a few months, you'll dig up handfuls of potatoes like buried treasure. The best part? You can replant the small ones and keep the cycle going forever. No reseeding, no rebuying, no drama. They're like the set it and forget it button of the garden world. If potatoes are the underground workhorses, the next crop is the total opposite. It grows faster than you can eat it. Number 11, kale, the indestructible superfood. Kale doesn't care if it's hot, cold, dry, or wet. This plant laughs in the face of bad weather. Once it's in the ground, it'll keep growing for months, and in some places, all year long. You don't even need to harvest the whole thing. Just pick a few leaves from the bottom, and it'll keep growing new ones on top. It's like a vegetable vending machine that restocks itself. Kale thrives in poor soil, doesn't need much water, and bugs mostly leave it alone, especially the curly varieties. It's packed with vitamins A, C, and K, and grows fast enough that you'll have greens for salads, smoothies, and stir-fries on autopilot. If you want the easiest superfood to grow, this is it. Speaking of super easy, the next one might actually be the toughest green on earth. Number 10, Swiss chard, the comeback king. Swiss chard is what you plant when you want to look like an expert gardener with zero effort. Plant it once, and it just keeps coming back. Even if it looks dead, don't pull it, give it a few days, and it'll bounce back like nothing happened. Chard handles heat, cold, neglect, and even a bit of frost. It's also one of those rare plants that gives you both edible leaves and stems. The stalks are crisp and colorful, and the leaves can be used like spinach. And get this, it's a cut-and-come-again plant. You harvest a few leaves, and new ones pop up almost instantly. It's the plant that never gets tired of giving. That one grows from the ground up. The next one, it just grows everywhere. Number 9, mint, the takeover artist. You've probably heard that mint spreads fast. That's an understatement. Mint doesn't spread, it takes over. Plant one little cutting, and within months, you'll have an entire mint empire. It grows through underground runners, popping up in new places like it's plotting world domination. If you don't want it to invade your garden, keep it in a pot. But otherwise, just let it run wild. The reward? Endless fresh mint for tea, desserts, cocktails, and even natural pest control. It repels ants, flies, and mosquitoes, so it's both useful and unstoppable. There are dozens of varieties too: peppermint, spearmint, chocolate mint, all ridiculously easy to grow. Just give it sunlight and water every now and then, and it'll handle the rest. But what if you want something that's just as low effort but actually sweet? Number 8, strawberries, the sweet survivors. People think strawberries are high maintenance, but that's because they've only seen commercial farms. In your garden, they're almost zero effort. Once planted, strawberries spread through runners, little vines that reach out and grow baby plants wherever they touch the ground. You start with a few, and by next year, you'll have a patch full of them. They don't need perfect soil or constant care. Give them some sun, and they'll reward you with sweet, juicy fruit every year. Plus, if you mulch around them, they'll come back even stronger the next season. A single plant can live for several years, producing more and more fruit each time. It's basically a dessert factory that grows itself. Next up is a plant that's so reliable it's been feeding people since ancient times. Number 7, garlic, the plant you can forget about. Garlic is almost comically easy to grow. You stick a clove in the ground in fall, forget about it all winter, and by summer, boom, you've got a full bulb. It doesn't need rich soil or tons of attention. In fact, garlic hates being fussed over. Just plant, mulch, and leave it alone. It quietly grows roots in winter and shoots in spring, pulling nutrients from even mediocre soil. By the time you see the green tops start to yellow, it's harvest time. And here's the best part. Save a few bulbs, and you'll never have to buy garlic again. You can replant from your own harvest indefinitely. It's one of the most satisfying crops for lazy gardeners because it rewards neglect with flavor. And if garlic's too basic for you, this next one is straight out of a prehistoric garden. Number 6. Rhubarb, the perennial powerhouse. Rhubarb is basically the set-and-forget champion of edible plants. You plant it once, and it comes back every single year, bigger and stronger. It thrives in cold climates, laughs at frost, and grows from massive roots called rhizomes. Once established, it'll keep producing for a decade or more, without you doing much at all. The stalks are edible and have a tangy, sour flavor perfect for pies and jams. The leaves? Poisonous, so don't eat those, but they make excellent natural pest deterrents when chopped and composted. Rhubarb also looks beautiful, with huge green leaves and red stalks that make any garden pop. It's food and decoration rolled into one plant that practically raises itself. If rhubarb's the cold weather survivor, the next one is the summer version. Number 5. Zucchini, the overachiever. If you've ever grown zucchini, you know, once it starts, it never stops. This plant doesn't just grow, it explodes. You can plant one zucchini, and 2 months later, you'll be giving them away to your neighbors because you can't keep up. They grow fast, they produce nonstop, and they don't care much about soil or weather. Zucchini plants thrive in full sun and need minimal care beyond occasional watering. The secret is to pick the fruits often. The more you harvest, the more it produces. And if you miss one and it gets huge, don't worry, it's still edible, just better for baking. It's one of those plants that make you feel like an expert even if you have no idea what you're doing. But if you want something that comes back year after year, even easier, this next one's for you. Number 4. Asparagus, the patience reward. Asparagus takes time to start, but once it does, it's unstoppable. You plant it once, and it produces fresh spears every spring for 20 years or more. For the first year or two, it's slow, it's putting energy into its roots. But after that, it shoots up like clockwork every spring. You just cut the spears and it keeps coming back. It's drought-tolerant, pest-resistant, and thrives with almost no maintenance once established. If you mulch it in winter, you'll barely ever need to water or weed it. Basically, it's the long-term investment of gardening. You put in the work once, and it pays dividends for decades. All right, we've covered the long-term ones. Now, let's talk about the easiest short-term win. Number 3. Radishes, the instant gratification crop. If you want a confidence boost as a gardener, plant radishes. They grow so fast you can almost watch them form. From seed to harvest, in about 25 days, that's it. They don't care much about soil or temperature. They'll grow in spring, summer, or fall. Radishes are perfect for filling gaps between slower crops. You can literally sprinkle seeds anywhere, between rows of other plants, and they'll pop up before the others even notice. They're also one of the few crops that are nearly pest-proof, and since you harvest them young, they never get a chance to get sick. Plant them once a month, and you'll have a constant supply of crisp, peppery roots. Radishes grow fast, but the next one takes patience and rewards you for years. Number 2. Blueberries, the edible hedge. Blueberries are surprisingly easy to grow once you get them started. They like acidic soil, but once you've got that right, they practically handle themselves. These bushes are perennial, meaning they come back every year, producing bigger harvests as they mature. They're resistant to most diseases, don't need much pruning, and birds usually do most of the harvesting if you're not quick. With just a little mulch and water during dry spells, you'll have berries for smoothies, pies, or snacking straight off the bush. They also look great: white blossoms in spring, green foliage in summer, and fiery red leaves in fall. You can plant them as hedges, in containers, or even in decorative borders. They'll grow almost anywhere. And now, the number 1 easiest crop that basically grows itself. Number 1. Sweet potatoes, the effortless feast. Sweet potatoes are unstoppable. You plant one slip, that's just a small sprout, and it turns into a massive vine that fills your garden with food. They don't need much water, barely any fertilizer, and they suppress weeds just by growing. The vines spread fast, shading out competitors, while the tubers quietly grow underground. The leaves are edible too, tender, nutritious, and great in stir-fries. After a few months, dig them up and you'll find huge clusters of sweet potatoes waiting for you. They store for months, making them perfect for self-sufficiency and low-maintenance food growing. And if you save a few to replant next year, you'll have an endless supply. Sweet potatoes are basically the autopilot crop. Once they're in the soil, your work is done. So there you have it, 12 crops that practically take care of themselves. No chemicals, no fancy gear, no daily watering schedule, just plants doing what they do best, growing food. Whether you're a first-time gardener or someone who just wants to spend less time maintaining and more time harvesting, these are the plants that'll have your back. Because sometimes the best gardens are the ones that thrive when you leave them alone. If this gave you ideas for your next garden, hit subscribe. It keeps the good stuff growing.